Hi, Sandy.
Hi, it's Dave. No Kirk here today, unfortunately. I think I've just demolished half my studio. Shit. No Kirk today with us because we're talking about MOFEST, which was
And he weren't there.
And he weren't there, and I weren't there, but I'm just facilitating this because Andy, you were there for the whole weekend.
I was, yeah.
So you obviously it's a long distance to travel for you because you have to take a vehicle so you can camp. Because it's just too far for you to go back at the end of the night for you to go home, isn't it?
Yeah. In reality, I live in Royston in North Hertfordshire, and this was in Wadden, over the border in Cambridgeshire, a mere 5 miles from my house. But we go as a family, and we take one of my work vans and we kit it out with mattresses and gas stoves and everything we need for the weekend.
Yeah,
and just chill, because it's that kind of festival. It's the same faces every year. It's that they could sell probably twice as many tickets, but they limit it to the number that they do, and it's just a great place for people to catch up who probably don't live particularly close to each other, who catch up annually at this sort of rock festival in South Cambridgeshire.
Okay, well, so was it actually a festival? So here's the question. So I know it was over Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yeah,
but that could just be classed as a weekender. So were there other things than the bands playing? And was there more things to do, or
not a huge amount to do? But I think we discussed earlier on the Heavy Fest video about what constitutes a festival. This it's inside in a sort of social club, so it's dry and warm and safe, and there's access to showers. There's an inside bar. There's an outside beer tent. There's a food stall, and there's a MOFEST merch tent which bands can sell their merch from as well. So I think it counts as a festival.
Let us know in the comments if you think it's a festival or was it a weekender. We want to know your thoughts. Okay, so obviously kicks off on the Friday. You guys headed up as a family on the Friday evening, and at that point in time it was still dry. We hadn't had the deluge of rain that we get to on Saturday, but we'll come to the weather on Saturday shortly. But who were the bands that you checked out on the Friday? Right.
This was the part of the festival that was most affected by sort of band changes. Unfortunately, the Friday night headliners, Blind River, I think they had sort of illness in the band, so they had to pull out earlier in the week. And I'm trying to think. I think a band called Ransom filled their slot. There's also a band called Cancel the Transmission, who are from Wales, who are due to play Friday. They were moved to the Saturday. So we just had 3 bands on the Friday night, namely The Forsaken, the Hot 1-2, and the aforementioned Ransom. So, we got there nice and early. Lovely Friday evening, chilled for a bit. And then we watched the Cambridgeshire band, The Forsaken. I think did we cover them on the channel?
We have. So they did Metal to the Masses Heat 4 this year.
Yes, Metal to the Masses they did, yeah. How would you describe it? You remember? It's hard to put them in a genre. It's sort of
they are
hard rock, traditional
heavy.
They're
a hard rock with a bit of groove metal thrown in.
Yeah. I've seen them a few times before. There's a sort of family link to the Hot 1-2.
Yeah.
The vocalist is called Dan Hudson, vocalist and bassist, and his son, I think his name's Jack, plays guitar.
Yes.
And they are brother-in-law and nephew to Kev Baker from Hot 1-2. And I think Kev manages them as well.
He does, yeah.
There's a connection there. And I've seen them before. They're really, really, really good band. One thing I will say is, I think it's been the case of when I've seen them before as well. The volume is far too loud. In as much as I said to myself, if this is going to what it's going to be like all weekend, it's going to be awful. It's going to be very, very tough, because especially the vocals, front of the stage, back of the venue, it was just in my ears, wherever I stood. So that's something I need to think about, I think. But when the vocalist wasn't sort of singing, the sound was really good. I don't know what the problem is with that, but that's the only criticism I can have. What am I going to say? Yeah, I mean, really good band to watch. Jack, the guitarist in particular, he puts on a show. He's not just standing there, riffing away. He's moving around. He's pulling shapes. pulling faces and having a great time. And I think when you're the opening band on the opening night of the festival, you're quite fortunate as much as if there's a band anybody's going to check out, it's going to be probably that one.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If you're there and ready to listen to your music, you're going to wander into the venue and check out whoever's playing. So they were fortunate in that respect, and they played really, really well.
Next up was the Hot 1-2, which is interesting because they obviously second on here, and we could talk about what they did the next day when they opened up at the Stone Dead Festival in front of however many thousands of people. So it's a real change of scenery to start the day before playing the Melbourne club to play in the Stone Dead Festival. But how were they at MOFEST then? Yeah,
I mean with the sort of change around and Blind River having to pull out, you thought perhaps they'd have been promoted to headliners.
I would have thought so, yeah.
Because I mean, they are. This band has grown so much in the last couple of years. You know, it's extraordinary. We talk about Stone Dead. Have you seen the videos of the people queuing up for the signing tent?
I haven't seen those yet. No.
There's dozens and dozens of people. I mean, they opened up Stone Dead in the rain, and that was wasn't great weather. They had a great crowd there, I believe, and there's people waiting to speak to them and pose and take photographs and everything.
Well played, those guys.
Again, hard rock is not really my thing, but these guys do it so well. Memorable songs, fantastic musicians. Kev Baker, All the Sky, is an absolute legend. You know, another good friend of mine. Great to catch up with him before and after. But you check out the clips, you check out the photographs, how he manages to play, throw the guitar where it is, pull the faces that he does, move around the stage like he does is incredible. But again, another band that's got great backing vocals to accompany the lead vocalist Simon, who's fantastic as well. I think we've covered the Hot 1-2 a couple of times on the channel as well. Again, another great live band. I've got the album. It's not something that's on constant repeat, I must admit, but I love seeing them live because it's such a great show. We talked about playing the gig or putting on a show. Hot 1-2 always put on a show.
They do.
They're going to go on to great things in the next couple of years, I'm sure.
I mean, if you look back at the Hot 1-2 over a few years ago, so if you look when they had a different lineup, because I think they had a different singer a few years back. I don't think it's always been the same singer. Maybe it has, but I thought they had a change in the singer lineup. And obviously Kev came in 3 years ago, I think, into the band.
Maybe a bit longer, to be honest. 2021, the Hot 1-2 at MOFEST. I'm sure that wasn't the first time I've seen them. But
I know Kev hasn't been. Kev was the most recent addition, or one of the most recent additions. And I think one of the things, having chatted to a couple of people about them, it's been what Kev has brought, apart from obviously the humorous aspects he puts into the band, his sheer energy and his joy in his playing has really made the other guys also have to think about what they do. Because one of the things I've even noticed is how much more they move around and how much more they get into the fun on stage. Because if you look at some of their earlier stuff from several years ago, they were a little bit more static, they were a little bit more classic rock star. Now they're just they're like, we've got to keep up with Kev, because Kev's like on one, and so you've got the same kind of energy bouncing off him. And they are absolutely phenomenal. I love watching these guys live. I think they're just absolutely on it, and they are definitely going to go far. So we'll talk about Ransom then.
Well, no, before we move on, another point about Kev, he's the sort of social media god for this band.
Right.
You know, they've got a separate Facebook page called Hot One Crew, and they invite fans to this group, and they say, there's a festival, can I play our name on there? You know, like this video, share this. He gets people behind him. He speaks to everybody who comes up to him after the show and takes a picture with them and chats and gets to know them. You know, adds them to the group and thanks them for their support and everything. So that is a big part of the Hot 1-2 success, I think. What Kev does sort of behind the scenes regarding the social media. We've talked about this on the channel, how important is social media for an up and coming band, and I think he's instrumental to their progress and sort of growth over the last couple of years.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't talk about Ransom because I went to bed at this point.
Okay, so we don't have anything about
I didn't see
no clips of
Ransom.
Ransom. So we don't know anything about Ransom. But let's go. It's a Saturday morning.
Saturday morning.
The heavens have opened. So was it raining when you were trying to sleep? Because obviously you're sleeping in this metal van.
Yeah.
Rain just hammering on it. And was that relaxing, or was that just kind of like, oh, for fuck's sake?
Well, it's a large Renault Master van with a sort of sliding side door, and I was lying next to the sliding side door, which was open a fraction for fresh air, and I was getting a little bit wet. It was coming off the roof, sort of bouncing off the floor and then bouncing into my face. So it did wake us up in the night, and it just sort of continued pretty non-stop throughout the morning. So we were just sort of encamped in the van playing top trumps and all that kind of thing, and we managed to get our sort of gas stove set up inside, so it was all good fun. But the thing about these festivals, probably across anything that you go to, you don't want it starting at 10 o'clock, but sort of 2:30 is a bit late in the day, so you've got a lot of time to kill. So
yeah.
I made sure that everybody had plenty to do, because even before the music starts, even on a good day, you know, you've got to keep yourself occupied. But
because did you not think of that? Did you not think at that point? You went, do you know, well, we're only 5 minutes drive from the house at this point. We could all just go home, have a shower, watch some telly, play some Xbox, and then come back in 4 hours.
That comes later in the weekend. But no,
Okay.
we wanted the festival experience. So we could have got home. We could have gone to the shops and bought something.
We got McDonald's, you know.
Yeah, no, we stayed on site. So that until the afternoon. So
Yes.
who did I see on the Saturday afternoon? I'll have to tell you now. Yeah. Who kicked things off was a guy called Ash. I'm going to probably mess up his surname. Tustain. Yeah. And he was, I mean, he looked like a rock star, sort of a bit Jason Momoa, you know, long sort of curly hair, beard, quite physically fit, acoustic guitar, and he played some really nice tracks. I found out later today he's part of another band that playing later in that day, but he has a sort of solo project. And that was really good. You know, nice sort of gentle way to kick off the afternoon. I can't say who compared himself, who I'd compare him to, or what the songs were about. Really, he's got a great voice and he played really well. And it takes a lot to sort of just stand in front of a crowd on your own and play music. So he done that really well.
Okay. Next up.
Oh, the All Right Jimmies.
All Right Jimmies.
All Right Jimmies. Yeah, I've seen this band previously at MOFEST, and they are great fun. They're, if you can imagine, sort of like a sort of hard, sort of heavier, more metal version of the Real McCoys.
Right. Okay.
So it's covers basically, but done in their own style. I think there was an Adam Ant one in there, and can't remember. Should have reviewed my clip, shouldn't I? Have you seen it? Can you remember what they covered?
I haven't looked at your clips yet. They're still in my editing file.
But yeah, they're sort of jibing each other on stage and something.
Yeah.
C word, which is a bit naughty at 3 o'clock in the afternoon when there's youngsters about, but I don't think anybody really minds that. But yeah, they're always good fun. They look like they've been in bands all their life, you know, veteran, established musicians having a great time. I don't know the guys. I don't know if they've been in sort of bigger, more successful bands, but they've always entertained probably the biggest crowd on the Saturday, to be honest, because there are lots of t-shirts, lots of their CUNT trilby hats on display. I think some of the fans had some sort of like Hawaiian shirts on as well, so they've got a look, they've got a following, and yeah, they're good fun as well.
Next.
Yeah. Bearing in mind, Dave, this is a rock festival. I'm a death and doom metal guy, so if I'm completely honest, there's not really many bands I covered on this
That's fine.
on the weekend, to be honest.
It's more about your experience, I guess.
It's more about my experience.
So when you were in between the bands, what were you doing in between bands?
What was I doing? Catching up with friends, you know, the two organisers, Mark and Ash, and other people that I've known most of my life who always attend. Like I say, it's the same crowd. There's people I don't know, but I know from being there on previous years that you sort of chat to and everything. So it's a really good sort of sort of almost family atmosphere.
Yeah.
But between bands, that's what I was doing. I was going back to the van and chilling with the family and doing whatever and saying, "All right, I'll head over now." You know, to be honest, nobody really joined me. I mean, Leslie came over for Planet Fatale, who I think would be the next one. No, I did catch a bit of the AJQJs, which is the next band. 3 young lads. What did they do? Oh, I can't remember. Just again, at this point, I'm in sort of ADK mode and thinking, well, I need to capture some footage for the channel.
Yeah.
I don't particularly want to watch this. But I mean, you can't. Nobody was poor. Otherwise, wouldn't be on the venue. I think they all have to earn their place.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I think Mark's got a team around him who helps put the festival together, and I'm sure he gets submissions. I'm sure he reaches out to bands that he wants to play. I mean, I'm going to send something through. You know, but how he selects them, I don't know. Check out the clip, see what you think.
Okay. Sorry, internet dropped out a little bit there, but okay. Right. So, talk about Planet Fatale for us.
Planet Fatale, week on from Heavy Fest in Stevenage, and again, Helen, vocalist, frontwoman, absolutely loving it. She's played MOFEST and Melbourne Rock Club many times before with Alter Sky, Powderhead as they were in 2021. You know, the Planet Fatale's previous name, and again, I think it's very much the same set. Although they did play a song from the first album called "Working Girl," which rarely is played live. It might have only been played on their album launch, which I've seen, and it's a sort of really sort of good track. Not as heavy in metal as most on the Cycle Repeats album, but that was dedicated to himself and Leslie, which is really, really nice. Because I've mentioned before how much I like the song and don't hear it live. So thank you to the guys for that, and another great performance. You know, one thing I should say, I mentioned the sound being not particularly good for the Forsaken on Friday night, but ever since then it was absolutely spot on. Guy, I think he's called Chris, does a great job all weekend. He's pretty much doing everything on his own. I think he's got, the chap helped him do a few bits, but he's there from kick-off, sort of, midday on each day, all the way through to. I mean, they go on till early hours of the morning. Whether it's I think they get the headlines get like 2-hour sets, and then they have like an after party, which you can hear from the van. We're tucked in bed well before that. But yeah, Planet Fatale, excellent as always.
So, what were the other bands that you checked out on Saturday? Did you do many others?
One.
Go on then. Who was the last one that you did then?
Remember, like I said, it's a rock festival. And I'm sort of, I've done my bit now. I've recorded. I've enjoyed the bands I've seen early on, and but yeah, the only other band I checked out on the Saturday was Dig Lazarus,
right.
Which is the other project from the guy who opened up today. Just what's his name? Ash.
Oh, Ash Sustain, yeah.
Yeah, the solo performer. And again, he's not got much help because it's him and a drummer. He's playing electric guitar and vocals this time, and I really enjoyed their set. It was strangely heavy for MOFEST, in as much as it was all stoner doom, almost stoner rock, certainly. Not too dissimilar from Black River Dogs that we mentioned from the Heavy Fest video we talked about. And again, he's interacting with his drummer really well. Drummer looks like they're having a great time, and it's, if there's a band I'm going to sort of check out from MOFEST, it'll be Dig Lazarus. Really good stoner rock, great musicians, really good performance as well. Hope that comes through all my clips as well. I hope everybody enjoys those.
And did you visit the food tent? Did you get food from there, or did you bring all your own for this one?
We treated ourselves to a burger on the Friday night.
Any good was the question.
It was a good burger, but a little bit pricey. But yeah, it's not just burgers. I think they have like sort of daily specials, like there's chili and chips on the Saturday, for example. But my girlfriend Leslie was well prepared. We had loads of stuff. I mean, you know, from a little gas stove in the back of a van, she came up with some fantastic meals. So thank you very much.
Okay, so then we kick into Sunday. The first question always has to be when you've been there for 2 days. At this point, are you kind of now going, I just want to go and have a shower and proper shower and sit in my comfy bed, and I'm getting a bit at this point in the festival? Or were you like up for it still?
Right. Well, this is the first for MOFEST because I don't know if this is sort of feedback from regular punters, but this is the first time we've actually done it on a Sunday. Even though it's Bank Holiday Monday, it is traditionally always been Friday night, all day Saturday, go home Sunday morning.
Yeah.
But they've added an extra day, and Sunday is Covers Day.
Ugh. Sorry, that's instantaneously me like, yeah, I wouldn't have bothered. I've gone, I'm sorry.
Right. And you jokingly said about why don't you just go home? At this point, we did.
You did. So did you see any of them?
Well, I'll come on to that. Yeah, we packed up, grabbed a McDonald's breakfast, went home. Everybody else done their own thing. I done, unpacked the van, put everything away, tied up and everything. But I did go back later in the day.
Right.
Not for much, I must admit. I mean, I really wanted to see Seedy Deeds, who I've seen at MOFEST before, who are AC/DC tribute band. But I did catch the band prior to that, which was they're not actually on the post that I'm looking at here, but they were called not Bad Money Driver, as the schedule around the venue dictate, but Bad Monkey Driver.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, they were decent. I'd have to look back in the clips to find the songs they covered. I think it was Ace of Spades, all the Trooper, all the classics. Yeah, they were decent enough. I mean, the two bands I saw on Sunday, the room was packed, and there was people I hadn't seen all weekend as well. And I found out later there were people who purposely bought day tickets just for the Sunday. So that is just going to show how popular. I know you won't like this, but covers and tribute bands are. I mean, there's certain venues in Hertfordshire that thrive on these. I mean, Club 85 and 66 Bar put on plenty as well, but there's a few that covers all week long, and it just goes to show how popular they are. I mean, when bands I did throughout the day done a cover, they're the ones that people got into as well. Planet Fatal done Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, for example. That went down really well. Yeah, yeah. Bad Monkey Driver were decent. Vocalist was a bit static. He had a iPad for his lyrics, which he occasionally glanced at, which
not a big favourite of that. Yeah.
No, not. I wasn't a fan of that, but perhaps he's fairly new to the lineup. I don't know. But yeah, quite enjoyed them. I thought I ought to go back and watch a bit. I paid for the weekend ticket.
Yeah.
Reasonable as it was, the price of the all weekend ticket, but yeah, I just felt Sunday morning. There's no point in us all staying there for me just to watch an AC/DC tribute band at 8 o'clock. We might as well go home. Of course, no. Weekend, and like I say, it's literally 5 miles, 10 minutes up the road. So I came back in the evening to watch those, and obviously Seedy Deeds, which was why I came back really, because I really like them. It's Bon Scott era AC/DC, which I really love.
Yeah.
Saw them last year. The musicians are absolutely spot on, down to Angus Young. Are they SG guitars he uses?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one of them's definitely got one of those. Guitar tone, as you'd expect, was as it should be for AC/DC. Drummer does backing vocals, which kind of works. Last year they had this really good front man. He was cross between Jim Morrison and Mick Jagger in looks.
Okay.
He was great. He had that Bon Scott sound. He's really tried to imitate him. I heard that he'd left the band, and when they came on stage, there was a young lady, a lady at the mic stand, and I thought, is this going to work? Because I'm sure everybody knows AC/DC songs are overtly sexual or innuendo sexual. So how's it going to work? A woman sort of singing those kind of lyrics. I mean, she occasionally changed the pronouns, which worked as well. But she was great. I must admit, I really, really enjoyed their set. But she was really, really good. Performed really well, sung really well. confident, and she didn't have a typical sort of female voice. It was almost, again, she was trying to do the Bon Scott. And yeah, really enjoyed their setup. Surprised to see that they sort of finished with "Shoot to Thrill," which is a Brian Johnson song, which she did struggle a little bit with. I think, you know, sort of hearing after, well, probably about 10 Bon Scott songs, and then one from Back in Black, there was a noticeable difference. I don't know if Brian Johnson has a sort of slightly higher delivery range.
Maybe I actually haven't thought about that.
Yeah, you know, it's quite obvious when you hear those songs back to back. And the other thing as well, there was some I didn't actually know. So it's not your usual AC/DC hits. There was occasional tracks like "Up to My Neck in You," which I don't really know. "Bad Boy Boogie." You know, people say, "Oh, they're classics. Everyone knows them." But there was a few tracks I didn't know. Not your usual sort of standout, regular, you know, sort of AC/DC songs, but really, really good set. I'd go and see these guys any day, and I think they're in Whiz Beach. They're not a million miles away, so hopefully they'll play local again, and I'll try and catch them. But yeah, that was the end of my MOFEST. Went home straight away after that.
It's a sad state.
Which was really good because we had this, like, it was almost like 4 days for me. Because I finished the work on 4 on the Friday, pretty much went straight there. So Friday and Saturday, Rockfest and MOFEST. Sunday, Monday at home chilling with a, you know, smattering of AC/DC in the middle. So yeah, really good festival. You know, my thanks to Mark Holland, my friend, and Ashley Cooper, and everybody else in the team who put us it on. I'll be back next year.
It's amazing to now see, like, that's, you're saying about the Sunday's probably the most well attended day, and the fact that it's all covers and tribute type bands, and I think there's that element of, you know what you're buying effectively as a punter. You're like, if I'm going to spend money on a concert ticket, if I watch it, I know who these bands are. They're playing songs I know, so I can enjoy it. Whereas if I go to this day, I have no idea what I'm going to get. So you go, well, where do I hedge my bets? I'm safer to do that. And I've noticed now that you're seeing. I saw a poster for a festival, and I'm like, is this truly the bands that are playing? This is amazing. And I realised it was just a tribute festival. So I was going through it, going, hang on, these guys are dead. How the hell are they playing a festival? And I went, oh, it's a tribute band. And they had like bands like, they had Korn tribute and Linkin Park on there, Queen. And I'm going through it going, yeah, you can put these festivals together with tribute bands and they're selling out first. They're one of the biggest things going now, which is it's an obvious thing of why people are going to do it, because they know you can go to that festival and you're going to get exactly what you know. It's like a Ronseal festival, they should call it. It does exactly what it says on the tin. Whereas everything else, you have no idea if you're going to like the band or not, or if it's a waste of your money. Have
you seen those gig posters and festival lineups where it's the true band logo and then very, very small print is
tribute?
Oasis. No Oasis.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And they're the ones I've sort of seen, and I'm like, they're all just tribute bands.
It's cheeky,
it's a bit of a cheat. Although now you could say that Oasis obviously are back. Which is
hooray!
Yay! Wonderwall! Yay! Well, there you go. So that is MOFEST, our review. Now, obviously, we didn't cover all the bands there because Andy just wasn't doing his job that weekend and cover every band. Damn it! But we want to know who are your favourite bands. Let us know in the comments down below who were the bands that we should have seen, and and let us know who you'd like to see at next year's MOFEST, and we'll pass it on to the organisers. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you on the video sometime very soon. Take care.